The oldest known world map is the Babylonian map of the world, known as the Imago Mundi. This map dates back to the 5th century BC. This map, found in southern Iraq in a city called Sippar, shows a small bit of the known world as the Babylonians knew it centuries ago. This map was formed out of a clay tablet and was found north of the ancient city of Babylon, on the fertile east bank of the Euphrates River. Now, while it might be the oldest known world map, I don't think it's the most significant. So let's dive into it. Now, the map on the clay tablet shows the Babylonian perspective of the earth and the heavens through the eyes of the Babylonians themselves, putting the city of Babylon in the center of the map. Much like other civilizations have done with Athens or Jerusalem, Babylon was put at the center because it was the center of life for the hundreds of thousands of people that lived there. This was the only perspective they had without the use of modern-day technologies like satellites, map-making tools, and reliable long-distance transportation. Their perspective and ideas about the world around them can be seen through this tiny tablet, incomplete as it may be. Now, surrounding the city of Babylon on the map lies 7 cities and 7 islands, surrounded by 2 circles that represent bodies of water possibly located near or to Babylon at the time. The cuneiform writing at the top of the tablet labels each location. The water parameters on the map are labeled as salt sea and a river of bitter water. This map shows the Babylonian perspective of the earth and the heavens through the eyes of the Babylonians themselves. Now, the locations on the map are mountains, a swamp, a canal, 3 unnamed cities, the cities of Urartu, Assyria, Dur, Elam, Bit Yakin, Haban, and Babylon, and an unknown location. Parallel lines below the marked city of Babylon are thought to represent the southern marshes of the present-day Iraq, and another curved line in the Zagros Mountains, which would have been visible close to the city. So this is more of a local map than a world map, based on everything we've just discussed. Another feature of the map visible in the cuneiform inscription is that it's actually a copy of an even older map of the region, one which has been lost to time and memory. Now, the unique perspective of the map, even as a copy of the older creation, shows not only how Babylonians saw the world around them, but the mythical heavens realms as well. The islands surrounding Babylon and the known regions around it don't exist in the physical realm. They are thought to be a mythical representation of the connection between the earth and the heavens. The reverse side of the tablet shows a depiction of the stars with recognizable constellations, corresponding to our modern understanding of the zodiac. Now, the fusion of the heavens and the earth, the realities of life around them, and the accurate charting of the universe above them caused the Babylonians to create the world's oldest existing map, still in existence today. But is it spectacular? Does it depict anything important? If in fact this map is as old as they claim, and in fact from the 5th century BC, then it's over 2,500 years old. But I want to talk about the baffling Piri-Reis map from 1513. Now, this map is only 500 years old. And, well, it depicts a Mercator projection in 1513 that wasn't invented until the 1700s. Not only that, it showed Antarctica centuries before it was even discovered. And on top of that, it shows Antarctica without the ice cap. Now that's a map. Now, late in 1929, Gustav Diesmann, a German theologian, was working in Istanbul at the Topkapi Place Library. While cataloging antique items, he found a gazelle skin parchment in a stack of discarded items. This parchment had a map drawn on it, and Diesmann was amazed to see that it appeared to show the outline of South America. He rescued the parchment, which is now known as the Piraeus map, and you're looking at the parchment right there. Now, the map he studied had been drawn and signed in 1513 by Turkish cartographer Hagi Ahmed Piraeus. In addition to being a cartographer, Piraeus served in the Turkish Navy, for which he held the rank of admiral. He stated that he had used 20 different maps and charts as his source of the documents. 8 of them were Ptolemaic maps, maps of the known world according to the 2nd century Hellenistic or Greek society. 4 were Portuguese maps, and 1 was an Arabic map. And 1 was even drawn by Christopher Columbus. This simple piece of preserved gazelle skin has been the basis of intense controversy in the world of cartography. For one thing, the map appears to show Antarctica almost 300 years before it was even discovered. Not only does it show Antarctica, let me get a good picture there, but the continent is drawn as a landmass as it would have appeared before it was covered with ice. Now, this controversy was precipitated when Professor Charles Hapgood published in 1965 his theory about Antarctica in the book Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings. And that's this map. Professor Hapgood, based at the University of New Hampshire, had studied the Piraeus map with his students and found several things that they could not explain. Not only was there an issue of Antarctica without its ice cap, but they noticed that the map was drawn using the Mercator projection, a methodology not used by European cartographers until the late 16th century. Now, Flemish cartographer Gerardus Mercator devised the cylindrical map projection in 1569. The Greeks had the ability to create cylindrical maps using their knowledge of the Earth as a sphere, along with the astrological and geometric skills to calculate latitude and longitude. The accuracy of the Mercator projection was not absolute until the chronometer was invented in 1760. Now, the use of Mercator projection on the Piraeus map could possibly be explained by the use of the Greek maps in the creation of his drawings. But there's no explanation for the inclusion of Antarctica without ice. None whatsoever. Professor Hapgood and his students theorized that the Piraeus map had to have been based on information older than 4000 BCE. That's older than 6,000 years before present. This is long before any known sophisticated civilizations or any well-defined languages or sciences were known. The map introduces the theory of an ancient civilization that had the skills to navigate the world oceans much earlier and accurately chart the lands they visited using a technique that hadn't been developed for thousands of years. Professor Hapgood went on to state that the topographic representation of the area inland from the coast was so accurate that this ancient super civilization had to have aerial capabilities, topographic skills, in addition to their nautical and cartographic abilities. This naturally led to a theory of an alien civilization or one based on the lost city of Atlantis. Now, those skeptical of the Piri-Reis theories point out that the map is a fair representation of the coastline of South America, as we see here. And Antarctica were joined at Uruguay and Argentina in a recent addition to the landmass. This augment infers that what is thought to be Antarctica on the Piri-Reis map is the lower portion of South America and nothing more. Just curved. So, what say you? Now, Professor Hapgood then theorized that the Earth underwent a shift in its axis around 9500 BC, which displaced Antarctica and moved it thousands of miles to the south. But if we just look at this interpretation here, this is quite clear that what we're looking at here on the Piri-Reis map is South America and not Antarctica. So, the Piri-Reis map is not a picture of ice-free Antarctica, just based on what we've just shown you. Now, I know the jury is still out on the question of whether the Piri-Reis map shows Antarctica or not. And if you subscribe to the idea that the portion of the map is Antarctica without its ice cap, which has appeared on other maps, then you must believe that an ancient civilization that had advanced navigational skills existed and produced accurate maps of the globe. If you believe that this depiction is of the lower coast of South America, then you will probably scoff off the idea of an ancient advanced civilization, or at least the pole shift hypothesis from Hapgood and Ben Davidson. Until there is absolute proof to support one or the other theory, the argument will continue. But based on what I'm showing you right here on the screen, you can clearly see that this is a bent description of the South American continent and not Antarctica, which is good news. And that means that the oceans are not going to slosh over you. You don't need to live in an underground bunker anytime soon. And that many of the people you're listening to are full of bull donkey. Now, what's more important is that the species here that are related to the coast are actually the animals living on South America as well, adding insult to injury. And that's a boom to knowledge. I hope you got something out of the video. I had no intention on disproving the Piri-Reis map. I've always believed it to be a version of ice-free Antarctica until I looked into it. And when I did, it was quite clear that this is a really beautiful map drawn well ahead of its time using multiple sources and confusing modern-day humans. What say you? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like